What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Relaxing Thoughts Podcast. I am your host, Digital Relaxation. We are back again with another episode, and I guess I can officially welcome myself back to doing this in a more focused way, because that last episode was kind of I forced that one out. I was probably better off just not doing an episode, but like I said, I didn't really give a warning, so I didn't want it to just disappear one day. But yeah, so I think everything is, well, not exactly. I'm gonna get into that soon, but we're getting there. But before we do get into everything, as always, you guys enjoy what you guys hear and what you're going to hear. Be sure to share this podcast, and of course rate this podcast on Apple and Spotify, whatever you listening to this on, that you can rate this on or whatever. And any way you can give feedback, that's also greatly appreciated as well. But yeah, so like I was saying, so as usual, before we get into the big topics, I got two topics I want to talk about, so I guess to make up for the last episode. But yeah, before we get into that, of course, as usual, what I've been up to. So like I was saying, I'm almost getting myself more settled. I'm still trying to I'm redoing my whole computer recording area. I'm getting a whole new desk and chair set up, so that's not coming until later on in the week. So by the time the next episode come out, I should be 100% cool. But for the most part, I mean, this is doable. It's not bad. But other than that, just been chilling, honestly, just kicking back. I mean, I was gonna talk about this last, but I want to talk about it now, I guess. This whole past last week, life has just been giving me a lot of curveballs and a lot of challenges, and it's things that either it's stuff that normally don't happen to you, but it's when circumstances changes, they're happening now. I mentioned that before as well last time when I started losing stuff. I don't normally lose things, but out of nowhere, when me keeping track of stuff is becoming even more important now, I'm starting to lose things, and it's yeah. So there's another case of things just going all over the place. But it's because usually when I give myself prayers and whatnot to start my day off and whatnot, and I always pray for obstacles, but obstacles that I know that that I can handle. The Lord knows that I can handle them. So it's at the end of the day, as I said, when trying to not focus too much on the things that's being negative, it's yeah, now this wants to happen now of all time, is but usually now that the week is over, it's most of it has been settled, or most of it is under control, to a point where it's I don't have to really stress over it. So it's now that I can look back, it's damn, it's I guess it's it just makes you better. It makes you more prepared for when things like that happen again. But yeah, just a bunch of stuff just kept on happening. We had that huge snowstorm over here, and that was just annoying, just getting to work, and then everything that happened throughout that day. My car was being weird. It's still kind of being weird, but it's slowly trying to get better. But I don't know. I mean, I've been wanting to get another vehicle, especially with my job now, because I drive my work vehicle, and I've gotten comfortable with driving, I guess bigger vehicles. I don't want to say trucks, but van size or Jeep size or whatever. So I don't know, maybe next time I plan on getting another vehicle, it might be something bigger. So yeah. which is funny because my car is not small, but I didn't want to get nothing like small and sportsy, like, because my brother had, when he got his first car, he had like a little 2-door Acura, and that thing was like, it sat low to the ground, and it's like, you hit anything, like a pothole or anything, it just affects the car big time. Like the radio will like shut off and stuff, and it's just terrible. So I wanted to make sure I get at least a car that's like a little bit more secure than that. But even this one feels like it sucks when it comes to the cold weather. I noticed, like, I don't know, I feel like this vehicle just starts breaking down during the cold. And it sucks because like I end up like paying for it throughout the summer, and like, I can't really enjoy using my car in the summer because I got like fix whatever the hell happened to it during the winter. So, but yeah, enough rambling about that. But yeah, other than that, like I said, I've just been chilling, watching a couple of movies. I'm going to talk about one of them a little bit in depth. It's not so much in depth, it's so much just, I guess, just something to think about, because it's not something I can personally relate to, but just something that, I don't know, I'll talk about it. But the movie I'm talking about is I Think I Love My Wife with Chris Rock. I do not remember what year this came out, but I remember I seen this movie in the theaters. It was one of those family night outs, movie nights, and for some reason we watched this because it was Chris Rock. And usually, you know, when you see Chris Rock, it's like one of those things when you see the main actor and you know what he's known for, like, oh, it's gonna be comedy, funny stuff. So we just watching the movie, just waiting for the funny jokes and whatnot, but not knowing what the hell the real message was, because I was just a little kid. So we watching this movie now, more older, and understanding like, oh, okay, I see what this movie's about. So I'm gonna talk about that a bit more. And I've been close to playing video games as usual. The new Apex season is coming up, so I have been like getting myself more brushed up on Apex. I'm finally glad we're getting rid of World's Edge. I hate that map so much. It's like, oh my god. So, but I'm kind of disappointed because the trailer for when they revealed the new legend Mad Maggie, and they revealed like that the map was gonna go back to Olympus, but the map like teleported to a new area. I wanted them to keep that theme, like we're on Olympus, but the background should be like wherever that place we located, like it was all red orange looking like planet wherever we was on. So I was like, oh, that'd be dope. It's like playing Olympus just with like a orange dark filter instead of it being bright and sunny. But nope, it's the same damn thing. It's basically doing the same thing they did to World's Edge. It's like, it's the same map. I mean, they did that with Kings Canyon too. It's just the same map. They just keep changing stuff that's in the map, not the whole environment. Which for Kings Canyon it made sense because it was kind of an island type place. The same thing for World's Edge, but like I said, World's Edge, all the changes ruined the map for me personally. Kings Canyon, like the changes was actually cool. I don't know. So some maps can do it, some maps can't. So hopefully the changes that happen on this map is good. 'Cause I know a lot of people don't like Olympus. I have mixed feelings. So like I'm saying, I don't necessarily hate it, but I'm not jumping for joy for it. But hopefully the new changes might spice it up. But we've been getting back into playing Siege again after like being on hiatus for 3 years, because before Apex was out, Siege was actually like our game. Like that was the game that we was on there like every day, and then Apex came out and we just kind of like, yeah, right. But going back on there, slowly trying to get the feel for that again, and like trying to see what the new meta is and seeing how they changed the game, because like almost every map in the game got a rework, and it's like, oh, this is not the map I used to play on. So it's like learning everything again for the first time. It's weird, but it's cool. It's still fun. It's still annoying too, but it's fun. But yeah, that's mainly it. Haven't really been up to a whole lot. Just settling in and just dealing with everything that's happening and just getting myself more prepared for things going forward. And yeah. So yeah, the movie called I Think I Love My Wife. And I mean, like, it's an old movie, but I guess spoiler alerts. If I do spoil, I don't really want to get too in depth into the movie. I just want to talk about the theme of the movie. So the movie follows Chris Rock, the main character. He's married. I would say happily married with quotations, but that's the whole theme of the movie. So he's married with his wife, and he has 2 kids, and he works at one of these big business companies in New York and whatnot. And it's a typical modern average American life. You got the house, the wife, the kids, the good job, the success, but the marriage is fading because they aren't interacting with each other. They're not interacting with each other in an intimate level anymore, and like they're seeing a therapist about it. But yeah, it's just they both don't want to admit to each other what they're doing wrong. They just blaming each other, instead of saying, oh, I need to take responsibility for what I'm doing on this side of the relationship. It's more like, oh, you're not doing this. Oh, but if you do this more, then maybe I would do it. So it's like they just constantly just basically throwing a brick wall to each other, and none of the arguments is getting through. So randomly, not randomly, but so when he's out going to work and commuting at work and whatnot, he has his little fantasies like, this is my only time I'm away from my wife. I get to sit there and just stare at other women, even though I'm faithful to my wife, but I'm not doing nothing with her no more. So at least let me fantasize about other women, I guess. And he's just thinking about it and thinking about them, what if I was still single again? What would I be doing right now? So randomly, I want to say, he bumps into an old friend, I guess back from high school days, so maybe college days. I do not remember, but I want to say probably college days, because they did say it was 7, 8 years since they last seen each other, maybe. So seeing how old he's supposed to be portrayed in this movie, I'm assuming probably during their college years they knew each other. But it's one of those girls that they was always cool when they was when they were coming up together, but she was dating his friend, and that relationship ended and whatnot. And I don't know, it's hard to explain exactly what their relationship was during that time period. I don't know if it was oh, I always liked her, but she was with my friend, so I kind of backed off and just played the friend role, I guess. I don't know, but she just pops into his life, and she cosplays the extremely attractive, seductive girl, and she's showing him all the new exciting things that he's missing out in life, taking him to exciting places that he normally don't go with his wife, or if he does go there with his wife, she doesn't make it exciting. Oh, they went to a car show once, and when he went with the girl, they was oh, let's look at all these sports cars, looking at our dream cars and the fantasy. And then he goes with his wife, and it's oh, look, a minivan. This is for the kids and us. And it's bruh. So yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, like I can't personally talk about this because obviously I'm not married, but it's just the idea of like, I don't know, because my take on love and relationships has always been very, I guess, one way in a sense. Like, I always had this sacred view on like relationships that it kind of, I don't know, to some people it kind of seemed like it held me back, I guess, from, I don't know, whatever life they want me to live. Like, you know, a lot of time when your friends or family like telling you why you haven't done this or done that more, it's like, I don't put myself out there like that. Like, I hold giving my heart away to someone very like serious. So it's like, if I'm putting that much energy into being in a relationship with someone, I want this relationship to last for as long as possibly can. So it's like getting into, I guess, the idea of when you do finally get with someone and being with someone and you thinking like, yeah, this is the person I really want to be with. This is the person I really want to spend my life with and whatnot. Everything is great. You know, my life is good. My relationship is good. We have a family, blah, blah. And then eventually it gets to the point where it's like, I don't know, we just not having enough time for each other anymore. And the relationship is getting stale. And then it's like, you know, what does that lead to? You know, in the case of the movie, Chris Rock has a coworker who like happily just be cheating on his wife, but it's like his like defense for it is like, he just don't give a damn. Like, he knows he can do this and not have guilt about it, but he knows that if Chris Rock was to do it, he know he's not that kind of guy. Like, it would hurt him and it would hurt his relationship. So he was trying to like help him not get too deep into like getting close with his friend. So I don't know, like, cheating is one thing for me as well. Like, that's something I definitely like look down on and things in my life. But also like the idea of, I guess, getting bored with your partner, or I don't know, is it getting bored with your partner or is it getting bored of the routine of the relationship? I don't know. That's something that's like, because marriage is, you know, supposed to be a lifetime commitment, but you know, things change in life and whatnot. People get remarried and divorced and whatnot. Things happen. I mean, I experienced it from both my parents. Both my parents remarried after they separated, so I know. But there no reason it wasn't because they were bored of each other. It was more of a serious problem that, you know, before my time, I guess. I want to say, cause like for me, from like my views and my lens, like, I had a small like window of seeing my family together as, you know, my mother, my father, my brother. That was like, you know, that was the family. It was very, very small. Like, like from my point of view, it probably did not last no longer than 2 years that they've been together. And throughout the rest of my life, they've been separate the entire time. So I've gone through seeing like these two not being together my entire life, and then seeing them both having to bring new people into my life that, you know, I had to adjust to. And it's like, I never even got the chance to fully adjust to having my actual family. Like 2 years, like, you know, I can't, like, I still love, I know, like, you love your family, but it's like, how much do you love that bond of the family? Like, what could have been, you know, had I've gone to, like, I didn't even, you know, I never even started middle school with them together. Like, not middle school, elementary school. Yeah, I started kindergarten. They was already separated by the time I started school. So I never even started school with them together. Like, I didn't even have that experience of like, oh, how it would be like, you know, my mother and my father and help me out with homework at the same time or whatever the situation. I don't know how that would work. It was always one or the other, but, you know, so I'm kind of like, I guess like I'm going further away, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just talking about relationships and whatnot, but I'm not an expert on that because of my tightness to just being in relationships. I don't be in a lot of relationships a lot at all. And I'm already getting to the point where it's like, I don't know. I've been having this inner conflict with myself with, should I even allow myself to open my heart up again to letting somebody else in again? Because it's just exhausting now. Like I said, cause like I plan for the long haul when I get into a relationship, and it's like doing all the effort of like finding someone, and getting to know someone, and building that relationship, and then for it to end like a few years later, like I don't know. So I don't know. I'm over it. But yeah, so moving on to the main topic, one of the main topics. This is I guess the topic of finding your freedom. And I kind of layered that into 4 sections. I don't want to get into, I guess, the 5th section, which is legit physical freedom. Like, not saying like slavery or anything, but there are people who, like, you know, in a family where they're not allowed to make certain decisions because of their religions or their upbringing. You know, their family look down on certain people that they should be around with, or their arranged marriages, whatever that situation, or being in a relationship with someone that ends up being like not physically I mean, it could be physically abusive, but like abusive, and like holding them to, like, they can't really get away from them. Like, they make them real dependent on them. So it's like, now they feel like, oh, I can do whatever I want with this person now because they need me to survive, kind of thing. And that's where it's like, you know, they're like finding your freedom. Like, but like I said, I broke this down to 4. I don't want to get into that section of it, but I mean, you can relate it, but like, I'm, you know, just separating them more. So there's, you know, your mental freedom, your emotional freedom. I put your spiritual freedom and your financial freedom. You know, me dealing with mainly I don't even know how much I put. I don't remember how I just said this, but mental, emotional, and spiritual freedom, I guess, is something that's more so important to me. Financial, I mean, it's important, but I guess that's why it's at the bottom. Like, it's my least important thing. I never really, like, I don't know, my relationship with money changed as a kid. Like, I used to really be fond of like having money, and like every time back when I was a kid and I would get allowance, and like, yeah, I would like try to save every dollar or whatever, just so I can have just to say I have a lot. Like, I'm not going to do anything with it, probably buy crap, but it's like, it's just the idea, like, oh, look, I saved it, now I got this much money. I remember the first time I saved it to $100. I was like, look, I got $100, like, I'm rich. But now, like, you know, I have it. It's a means to an end. I use it to do what I needed to do, and that's it. I don't know. Like, everyone got their look on things. Like, even though there's like, I don't know, just different, you know, different views. Like my mother and my father also, like, they both are different with how they view their money. Like, my mother knows more how to like prioritize and like save and, you know, make sure that things are right. As for my father's, like, you know, if you got it, spend it, but don't just go crazy with it. Like, make sure it's the same thing, like, prioritize, but at the same time, it's like, don't be afraid to just say, hey, I need this, go get it, instead of like waiting for a certain time. But yeah, Yeah, but that's why it's last on my list. Like, I don't know. But of course, the big one for me, probably, I don't know, between mental and emotional, that was like the biggest one. I want to say probably mental was the biggest one for me, as I brought up, like, when you dealing with like the depression and whatnot, and like, you know, your thoughts is what is really like the biggest, you know, issue with dealing with like your depression or whatnot, because, you know, if you're constantly in a negative mind state, you're just going to constantly think about negative things and just make yourself feel even more down and bad. So it's like finally breaking out of that, you know, your mental prison, your mental shackles, and freeing yourself from that, which is, you know, glad I was able to finally do that. It's just it really is a great, I don't know, it's a great feeling, but it's like it sucks that I had to go through all of that to get this feeling. That's the thing. Like, there's some people who just have it and don't even go through the things like they need to go through. Like, they already just had that mental freedom, but there's other things that maybe they don't have financial freedom, like, you know, but everybody has their own thing that keeping them locked. Emotional freedom, I mean, I guess that would be kind of towards like dealing with relationships. Like I said, like when you become dependent on someone and you feel like you can't live without that person, or, you know, you accept how they treat you because you think that it's actually love. Some people think like, you know, he hits me, but at least he loves me type thing, or, you know, she, you know, vice versa. You know, men can be abused too. It's not one way. But yeah, I mean, I can talk about it because I know that, you know, during my dark time, I was very dependent on like leeching off of just the feelings of other females, like just that feeling of wanting to be loved, because I felt like I lost that feeling. So like I'm seeking these people out, like, hey, like, you know, tell me you love me, tell me why you care about me, tell me why I'm important, you know, because I can't tell myself that. I don't know, there's no one else telling me that, so hey, you do it for me. But it's like, it gets to the point where it's like I'm constantly doing it. It's like, bro, all right. So yeah, like it's being able to finally say, you know, finally being able to be the one to tell yourself that, like, you know, I love myself, I care about myself, you know, I'm important because of this. And, you know, it's finally being able to just express all them things that you want to be expressed from someone else, but doing it for yourself, to yourself. Like, you don't really need someone to tell you that you're important. Like, you are you. You're here. You exist. Your existence is important, and as long as you are existing, it's important. Like, you're here for a reason. It's everyone has their path and their way of figuring out what's the reason. But yeah, I put spiritual. I mean, this could also probably be religious freedom. I mean, I was never raised off of religion, but I want to say during like my high school years, I definitely had like I guess I want to say an anger towards God, but more so a disappointment, and for my, like, wondering why I exist, like, why you putting me here to go through this type thing. But I never got to the point where it's like, I'm tired of you putting me through all of this, so if you're not gonna make me feel better, then I'm just gonna just end it type thing. It was just always like, I'm here, I will endure it, but why are you making me? Like, I didn't see the long haul. I didn't see what was gonna happen years from here. Me doing this podcast, I didn't see myself doing this. So I was like, why are you making me do this? Like, why am I going through every day feeling this way, thinking this way, seeing things this way? But I want to say it was during my college years, which even though I was still going through my time, but that's when I was still going through that's when I started my soul searching and finding out who I was. At the same time, still dealing with like my emotional damage and whatnot. So like, I guess I was trying to gain mental freedom while still not having emotional freedom. So that it was just a big journey. But so, yeah, I guess that, like, I was clashing with all three of them during my college. I was trying to gain mental freedom, but I did not have emotional freedom. So I ended up finding spiritual freedom as a way to get emotional freedom, which eventually led to me finally getting mental freedom. And it was like a whole chain of events. But like I said, I started watching different things, listening to different things. So some of the music I was listening to, like, I guess real dark hip hop music during high school years, like the stuff that I needed to hear to get me through the anger and sadness is what I was listening to. So through college, I was like listening to the things that get me through, I guess, existing. And that's why I put Blue as one of my favorite rappers, because the Below the Heavens album is like one of the albums that like single-handedly just shift my whole perspective on how I looked at things. Like, not only the fact that there's a song on there called Show Me the Good Life, where he raps about his girlfriend calling him and telling him that she may be pregnant, and he's just saying here like, bro, like, I'm only 22 years old. There's a lot of things I ain't even do for myself yet. Like, how am I supposed to do things for another being that I haven't even done to myself? Like, and at the same time I was listening to that song, I was actually 22 at the time. So it was like, I'm just putting myself in the perspective of like, things can change for me now. Like, I'm no longer just this teenager no more. Like, I can go through something like serious as that, and it won't be he's just young, we should feel sympathy. Like, nah, bro, you an adult, you gotta handle that. No one not really gonna really look out for you now. So it's like, yeah. And then it's like, just the idea of like, there's so much things that I want to do and so much things I want to seek, but I also have the responsibility of raising this child. And like, I don't know, like, how I'm supposed to show him a good life, which, that's the point of the song, is like, show me a good life. Like, how am I supposed to show my son like how life should be like, and I'm not even there yet? So it's like, I don't know. So it's like thinking about, damn, I really should get myself more situated now. Like, I need to stop just beating on myself and start really changing how I see things and how I start looking at things and thinking about what I want to do and things I want to enjoy now. Like, just the little things, like, why don't I like do certain things? Like, when I was young, I always had the fear of like going on roller coasters and stuff like that, mainly because it wasn't, I mean, part of it, I guess it was just the normal fear of roller coasters, but part of it was because it's like I said, when I was growing up, I was mainly usually the youngest around like cousins and my brother. So obviously I was always getting picked on for being young and whatnot. And they always try to tease me and scare me into something that's not really all that scary. Like something simple as learning how to swim was torture for me as a kid because, you know, getting ganged up on by my older brother and cousins, just getting thrown in the deep end and I can't swim. It's like, bro, now I don't want to swim no more. I'm scared of water. And then it wasn't until I was in the pool by myself. So I was like, hey, I finally got the freaking the freedom to actually explore how swimming worked. And I actually sat there and taught myself how to swim. So the next time I was with them, it was like, oh, throw me in the deep end. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I can swim now, bro. That's not a problem no more. So I eventually got to the point where it's like, oh, I'm going to start doing more things now. So when I was young as a kid, like growing up in New York, Coney Island, there's the famous Cyclone roller coaster, which I believe that roller coaster has been going for almost 100 years. That roller coaster has existed. I think it's 90 plus right now. But as a kid, I always been scared of going on it, and because of usually how they talked about it and whatnot. And then a few years ago, I think I just got out of college when I finally decided, hey, we was at me, my brother, and my father. We was just in Coney Island, just hanging out. We played mini golf and whatnot, and we were like, oh, my brother like, hey, trying to go on the Cyclone, and I was like, I was saying that the band, I was like, should I still be scared of this? I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's go. Why not? Me and my brother, we gonna do this. We gonna have this moment. So we end up going, and it was cool. It wasn't even that, you know, it wasn't bad at all, honestly. The only thing I still probably won't do is roller coasters that have like loops, like, which is funny. I had been on a coaster that had a loop before, but the whole coaster, because we was in like a dark tunnel the whole time. This was in Orlando, Florida, and I don't know what the ride was, but we was like, the theme was like we was in like this limousine, you know, roller coaster, and it was just going extremely fast. Like literally, as soon as the roller coaster started, like usually when you go on roller coasters, like it slowly builds up to something, then you just drop down. Like nah, as soon as you went in there, it just said, whew. I'm like, yo, what the hell's going on? And everything just dark. You don't know what the hell's going on. So we did a loop without me even knowing. I'm like, yo, did we just loop? So I'm cool if if it's like that and I can't see it coming, that's cool. Like I still have the issue right now. No, like I know that it's coming. It bugs me. So I don't know. Maybe I'll eventually get over it, but right now, yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. Just changing my perspective on things, and like I said before, I used to be like very, I guess, disappointed with God, like keeping my existence to like building my, I guess, just regaining my faith and my love in God again. And like I said, the music I was listening to and hearing things and seeing things from other people and family members and whatnot, like just changing how things look. And it's like, and I said once I stopped changing how I think about things as well too, it's like, you know, all right, I get it now, I guess. And it's like, I see why you putting me through this. I'm not completely, but I'm slowly seeing why you putting me through this, and I get it. I'll trust the experience, and I trust the process. So that's where I've been. And like I said, like doing one frees me from the other, and then eventually free me to the other. And yeah, and I guess I'll be working on my financial freedom. But yeah, I mean, that's mainly it, I guess. Like just finding what it is that's keeping you back in your life, whatever that certain thing is, and finally freeing yourself from it. But so another topic I'm going into with my dad, and so my dad brought up, we were just driving We going shopping and whatnot, and he brought up like, I've been living in New Jersey. And I was born in New York. I was raised in New York, and then we eventually moved to New Jersey. And like years wise, it's literally half and half on how long I've been in. Like I lived in each spot, but that one location in New Jersey was probably the longest I ever lived in one spot for a long time. Like switching between my mother and my father, and then whenever they moved, so it was like it wasn't always constant. I mean, it was constant, not, it wasn't stable. But this was like the first time it's been like, oh, we've been here for a long time in this one spot. And he was like, like, do you still miss New York? Or, my feelings on you being in New Jersey and whatnot. And I was like, it's like, thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I definitely do miss New York. Like that will forever just be my favorite years of my life to this day, for the most part. Like, and because of course, like when I think of being in New Jersey, like that's where all of the crap happened. Like, yeah, I don't want to think about that. Like, I mean, it's not that I don't want, like, I can't think about that experience in the light, in a good way. Like I could try, like I would point some little things out, like, oh, there was this one time when this happened, but as a whole experience, like, nah, like I still can't commit to accepting like New Jersey being a big part of my life. And like I don't know, it's hard to say. I don't want to say it in a positive way, because like I've definitely like done some things that some people that I know have yet to even done by being over here. Like the opportunities I was given to me, like definitely, but it was like just the experience of living and existing wasn't my best being here. So it was like just thinking about like why I enjoyed, like why I still hold New York so close to me, compared to like finally saying, yeah, New Jersey been good to me too, but and I was just like thinking, like it just hit me, like, I mean, it's the obvious reason. I mean, like that was like, but it's the obvious reason, but thinking about it from the perspective of like, what happened to me is like, that was the last time of legit, pure, innocent happiness I had in my life before, like literally moving over here, and they just saying, nope, all of that's gone. So it's like, yeah, I would always hold that close to me, because that's the last time, like, I was purely just genuinely happy about my life and living and seeing the next day. Like even times where it's like, oh, I can't wait just to go to school the next day, just to talk to some of my friends or talk to that girl or whatever the case is. Like in New Jersey, it was like, bro, like I'm tired of seeing these people. I'm tired of going to class with these people. Like I was fed up with everybody real quickly. Not to say like I had some friends and whatnot, but it was like as a whole, it was just like I wasn't dying just to like, oh, can't wait to go to school, see that. But yeah, I don't know. It was different, because it was also different because it was like, I don't know if it was me or whatever the case is, but it felt like when you treat your work life separate from your personal life, like there's some people that like at your job, like you're cool with, but yeah, keep that relationship at work. So like that's how I guess I was treating New Jersey, and some other people, like the people I was cool with, treating like the friendship there too. Like, yeah, we in school, everything was cool. And then after school, like maybe we'll text each other, but we, hanging out wasn't all the time. It was like here and there. Like compared to when I was in New York, it was like I had my whole group of dudes in school that I was cool with and tight with, and then when I get out of school, I had my whole other separate group of people, and then whenever it was just a lot of like places I belonged to, I guess. So no matter where I was always excited for each part of my day. Like, oh, I'm in school, I'm gonna see these people. Oh, after school, I'm gonna chill with these people. Oh, it's the weekend, I'm gonna chill with my cousins. And like, I always had that whole group of like, no matter what time of the day it was or which week it was, I always had something to fall back on with my friends and whatnot. But once I got to New Jersey, it's like, nope, nobody really be outside no more. That's also, social media started to really take over. Like, when I was leaving New York, back in 07 was my last year there. MySpace was like kind of just new and whatnot. Like, people was talking about it, like people were making them, but it wasn't, it wasn't our life like that. Probably so, but it was probably, and that's why, and that was also one of the things that led to like how I ended up feeling about people and my friendships and whatnot, because I was too late to join the whole we was all too late to join the social media train, because I didn't have one, and I know my friends didn't have one at the time. So I didn't, knowing that my mother was still gonna be in New York, I thought that it was gonna be possible that whenever I go to New York, I would still probably see them. But my mother ended up moving to Long Island. So even though when I went to my mother's place, I was still far away from them. So, and then I had no social media. Texting on your phone back then was like a luxury, because you had to pay extra to text. So there was no one to text, and we didn't really have phone numbers like that. Like, it was hard to keep a lot of contact with a lot of people. 'Cause like I said, there was no need for me to call them. Like, we literally lived on the same block. Like, I'll go outside. It was like a routine. We would all go outside and just pick each other up. Like, yo, you could come out. Yeah, come out. All right, go get him. We all got up together. Like, all right, this is the whole group for the day. All right, let's go hang out and do something. Like, no phone calls needed. We just took a chance on knocking people that, oh, he's not here. Okay. Oh, he's busy. All right, go to the next house. So it's like, we didn't rely on that. So that's like, once I came over here, it felt like everyone relied on it here. And that's where it's like, damn, like, everybody's just to themselves in a sense, or people have like different views of what's fun now. Like, oh, let's go to the mall just to freaking walk around and look at shit. I don't know. No, that wasn't never me. Like, there wasn't even no malls close to where I was. So it was just strictly outside fun. So yeah, so by the time I got into social media, like, I couldn't find them, if they even had them, because that was still back when Facebook will allow you to have weird names. Now they're forcing you to use your actual name. So I couldn't find no one, because what the hell, I don't know what name they're using. I wasn't using my name. So like, it was weird. So, but yeah, like, I lost contact with just about everybody I was close to in New York. I managed to regain contact with one person from my childhood, but that was mainly it. Yeah, so that's why I was like, I'll always hold New York deep to me, because I was like, that was the last time things was like really genuinely fun and exciting. So yeah, but that also lets me thinking about Thinking about, I don't really like to be the one who's like, like to live with regrets. I would do this differently if I had the chance to go back and do that. I was just thinking about in the grand scheme of things, like, what I know now is like, damn, like that year was literally like, it wasn't even that year. I would say 2000. I was thinking, I don't know where I seen this from. I forgot, but I saw something about 2005, and I was like, yo. And I was thinking about like 2005. I was like, yeah, that's probably legitly the last like solid year of that like pure fun. Like, granted, so like, yeah, 2005. Like, 'cause the way my years work goes with the school. So around that time I was leaving elementary school and getting into middle school, and of course, middle school, that's when for some people puberty hits and whatnot, and your priorities change on what the things you think about and talk about. Fortunately for me, or fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. My puberty didn't really kick into full gear until late 2007. Yeah, literally. Funny is, like, literally after I left New York, I guess it kind of kicked in because it's like, yeah, like it was like night and day, like. The physical change, my voice changed. Like, once I left New York and came here, like that summer was just like a transformation. It was like, it's like when you go to another place and you change your identity. That's what it was for me. Like, I just physically changed and everything. But yeah, and New York, when you live in New York, those conversations is like life over there. Talking about how you look and talking about the girls and all that. I still that still didn't hit me yet. I mean, it never did, to be honest. Like, I don't care. I was never really materialistic like that, and finally gaining my freedom and whatnot, I'm learning to definitely like detach myself from being attached to physical stuff. But yeah, like, I was never like me, but I can tell, like, when I was in like 6th grade, like, some of the friends I had like I said, I had different friends and different, I had my school friends, and then I had my outside friends on the block and whatnot. But they never mingled because it wasn't like that no more. Cause everyone started having different views. So like, I had this one dude out like that. Like, he was like in that school. Like, he was definitely my best friend. Like, he was tight. Like, it was like we had that friendship. Like, you couldn't see one without the other type thing. So like, we was always together. But he was like more like, he was like a sneakerhead guy. Like, he'll always get the new sneakers and whatnot. He wouldn't try not to mess his shoes up and whatnot, and like, I ain't care about that. So it's like, that was like a disconnect. So there was other people who was more like that, and they would hang out and talk after school, whatnot, because that's what they would talk about and whatnot. And like, that ain't me. So like, I go talk with my boys because I know what they about. We have our little circle. So that was the first time when things started changing. But it was like, yeah, I don't know. It was a weird mix. And then of course my interest in females also started to increase there too. I always had an interest in females, but this was like the first time like I really went like full force and pursued it. Like, ended up getting my first girlfriend and whatnot. But yeah, like, so like my shift started to change and what I was thinking about and all that. So yeah, but 2005 was the last time everything was just pure and innocent. So like, then 2006 happened, and then of course 2007 happened. Things was weird in 2007, and then I ended up coming to a whole new state, and yeah. Little did I know depression was right around the corner. But yeah. I think that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to. Well, I was gonna reference because I recently also watched Napoleon Dynamite, and a big character was Uncle Rico, and that was his gimmick or his thing. Like, you know, he lived too much in the past. Like, you know, he regrets that his coach didn't put him in the fourth quarter of the game or whatever, so they lost the football game. And you know, he thinking like, bro, like, he would have just put me in there, we probably would have won. You know, I would have went pro. You know, I'd be rich right now, but no, here I am, freaking living out my van, recording homemade videos of me throwing my football. It's like he just want to relive the glory days and whatnot. Like I said, but that's not really me. Like, I've learned to accept my whole journey, like, you know, the good and bad. That's why I say I try not to dwell on the negative. Like, even just like last week, like all the stuff that kept on happening, like to finally finish the week and knowing all the stuff that I accomplished that was like getting in my way. It was like, oh, like, you know, it's like getting over the hurdles. Like, oh, I finally got past that. Like, oh, like I felt good now. Like I can go to sleep knowing like I'm good. Like everything's taken care of. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today's episode. So yeah, I guess we can end that here. As always, before we end it, of course, and to make up for last episode, because I know I didn't give you guys one, so I'm gonna give you guys 2 questions of the day, which is gonna relate to each the topics I talked about. So question 1 is, what freedom, you know, which category of freedom do you feel is the most important to you, like for you to have? Like, you know, which one do you value the most? Like, I know, like I said, some people probably value financial freedom more than other freedoms and whatnot, but, you know, of course, me, I end up learning that, you know, it all works together. Well, except for financial freedom. For me, I just can't see it yet. Like I said, I'm working towards that. But yeah, so no. Which freedom is the most important to you to have in your life, or which one is probably just you're working on right now? I guess. Yeah, I guess that was a 2-part. But second question is, do you live your life thinking that if you had the chance to go back, would you do things different? You know, like Uncle Rico, like, you know, there was a scene in the movie where he bought a time machine online, quote unquote time machine, and all it did was just freaking yeah. But yeah, like, do you be like, damn, man, knowing what I know now, if I just did this differently, things would be like this and whatnot, you know? Like I said, I don't live with regrets or nothing, none of that. It's just thinking of like, damn, like I could think about everything that I can view that was negative in my life, and like, oh, maybe if I would just did this, that would have happened. Like, but you know, that's just me trying to have a perfect life. Like, oh, that one time I didn't say hello to that person, and then this happened. But, well, what would have happened if I would have said hello? Like, you know, like, I can't nitpick about every decision I make, or decision that I didn't even have control of, probably. So it's like, I don't know, but that's just me. But yeah, so yeah, I guess that was a good episode. I don't even know how long this is right now. I'm not looking at the time, but yeah, if you guys enjoyed the podcast, as always, please be sure to share this podcast so we can grow, and rate it as well so we can grow and whatnot. And yeah, looking forward to trying to connect with more people and just grow and expand with more people and just make podcasting a great I was gonna say environment, but I don't know. Whatever. Great experience or environment, maybe, whatever you want to look at it. And yeah, till then, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.